This morning we're coming to you from my office, not from out in the field. Wanted to share a message, something that I think's important, and I want to get it out there, at least try to get it out there again. You know, a couple years ago when I first started this channel, like my second, third, or fourth video, I'm not exactly sure, I put out a video about 3 steps to becoming a better photographer. All right, and at that time I had basically no audience, and I think it's had a total of 18 views. But I think the message is really important, and I want to make sure that it gets out. So I thought I'd come back and revisit it. Now what I will do is I'll put a link down in the description to that particular video, as well as I'll put a link here at the end, all right, of this video, so you could, go over to that video if you like. So if you like, go back and see it. Early on, not a great video, still didn't understand editing. I still don't, but at that time I really didn't. All right, but if you want to go back and see it, I'll at least give you links here so you can do it. All right, but I want to go back and I want to make sure that the message that I tried to get out that day, all right, gets out, all right, because I think it's incredibly important. All right, so now, how do we become a better photographer? Now, certainly watching my videos or watching anybody else's videos, whether that be, Thomas Heaton, Nigel Danson, or any of the other great photographers that are out there, all right, are important, all right? But when you watch those videos, basically what you're doing is step 1 of the 3 steps to becoming a better photographer, all right? Step number 1 is see one. So in other words, see somebody else or watch somebody else do something, all right? And from that, we begin to get an image or a picture in our mind, all right, of how it's done, whatever it may be that we're watching, whether it's taking pictures with an iPhone, right, or baking a cake. It really doesn't matter, all right? But first thing we have to do is we have to see it, all right? Sometimes it can be just reading it in a book. That's still seeing it, all right? But see it, all right? Then we move on to step number 2. And step number 2 is do one. So see one and then do one, all right? Step number 2. Now, what does that mean? That means, okay, now I've seen this or I've read this or whatever. Now let me go apply it and let me try to do it. Whether that's, taking a picture of a covered bridge, all right? Or whether that's, taking images of bears in Alaska, whatever it may be, all right? Go do it, all right? And from that, you're going to gain more knowledge, right? More experience. If you saw somebody do it, now you're doing it and you're applying what you saw into your style, all right? And how you do things, all right? Whether that be taking images or that be baking a cake or whatever, all right? You're doing that. Now you move on to step number 3. Step number 3 is the most important step. So see one, do one. Step number 3 is teach one. So in other words, now that you've seen it, now that you've done it, now show somebody else how to do it. Because true learning actually occurs when we teach. All right? Teaching is the most important thing. All right? So my videos are in essence a form of teaching. That's how I become a better photographer, because I'm now sharing with you things that I've seen, things that I've done, all right? And I'm showing you how I did it. So as I teach you how to do it, I actually really truly learn and become, that's when you truly learn, is that teaching step. So you have to do those 3. Now I'm not saying, that leading lines isn't important, or the rule of thirds, or, space, or using lights, or shapes, or anything. I'm not saying any of that stuff isn't important. They are important, but they're all an element of seeing, doing, and then teaching, all right? We need to follow those 3 steps. It doesn't matter if we're talking about photography or working on a car or anything else. See one, do one, teach one. 3 important steps to everything, because true learning will occur when we teach. That's when we become an expert. That's when we really begin to understand something, is when we teach it. All right, so from a photography standpoint, when somebody's telling you, that they use geometric shapes and they look for these, or they look for a leading line, or I try to blur water out, but I only do moving water out, but I do it at, at a half a second or something like that. I think I've shared some of those videos where I've seen somebody do it and I've gone out and I've tried it and I've applied it and I've kind of manipulated it to my way. But when I truly learned it was when I was sharing it with you, all right? Because I'm teaching you what I have seen, what I have done, and ultimately that when I'm showing you how to do it, that's when I learn it the best, right? So you may think this is a bunch of garbage, but I'm telling you, absolutely the most important thing, because it applies to anything beyond photography. See one, do one, teach one. I keep saying it because it's really that important, and just keep it in your mind, all right? If you really truly want to get good at something, you really truly want to understand it, teach it, because that will help you. And again, I'm not saying that, you have to go out and teach people how to use an iPhone. But if you want to be good with your iPhone, the best way to do it is Teach somebody how to do it. All right. If you want to be good, you know, at taking portraits, best way to do it, see it, do it, and then teach someone to do it. Show it to somebody. Show somebody how you do it, what your style is, how you go about doing it. Whether that be taking the image, editing the image, or just going out in the field and doing things. Very important. All right, very important. All right. I don't want to ramble on forever. I seem to do that way too often. So I'll cut this video short for this week, but I want to make sure that I get the message out. So again, I'd love to know what you think. If you think I'm all, you know, just crazy, or if you think this all makes sense, whatever. All right, I'd love to hear. Put some comments down below. You know, throw them in there. Like to hear what you think or read what you think. Maybe share some of my comments back with you. All right. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. You know, if you're new and you haven't, you know, you kind of like what you're hearing, or kind of like me, if you've seen a couple of videos, kind of like what you see, please subscribe. I'd like to continue to grow the supplier or subscriber base. All right, we are, you know, 213 subscribers as of this morning. You know, still not a big channel. We're a small channel, small little family, but you know, trying to grow slowly but surely. You know, keep working on it. All right, so thanks for coming along. Appreciate every single one of you. Appreciate every single view, every single comment, every single thumbs up, even the thumbs down. At least I know people are watching, which is great. All right. So till we see you again, stay safe.